Hello everyone, Jacques from Dapper Shaves back with another wet shaving video. You're going to find a lot more useful information, or maybe a repeat of information you've heard or seen me say before with somebody else. And it's more about the basics of wet shaving. We're going to talk a little bit about brushes, maybe about soaps, and then I'm doing my farewell shave. This goes back to Trevor with his quarter hollow RWL. I'm going to talk about this razor obviously when we get to the shave. This is my own personal wolf blades. All right, this is the high-end series, if you can put it that way. We'll talk about the difference between this razor and this one, but by now you would know it's exactly the same steel, it's just the finishing. So a lot more contoured areas on the spine and the tang, and mirror polish. That is the only difference between these two razors. So this one takes a lot more time and effort, hence a higher price for them. This less of that work, reduced price, exactly the same razor, just different looks. And this is called the Pro series. Alright, so high-end series, Pro series. Trevor has got a laser machine, so he does engraving on all his razors. Mine hasn't got that. That was before he gets the machine, but I will take mine to him because I want it engraved. So that's that. So the basics of shaving starts with the preparation. I've had a warm shower. If you go to a salon or upmarket barber shop or somebody like Danilo that knows what they're doing, you're going to sit down because you can't have a shower. Your beard's going to be dry. So they're going to steam it, use a hot towel. They're going to use pre-shave oils on there. You'll see they massage the skin. It's beauty. Is a spoiling thing, and so you need to take your time. And the same comes to shaving. Me, I've been doing it for long, so I just grab stuff, go wild and have a shave. But shaving is spending time with yourself, pampering yourself, or when you go to a fancy barber shop to sit down to be pampered. And it starts with that preparation. Right, so there's loads of products and many things to do and to buy. But you'll come to learn that if you understand the basics correctly, you don't need to buy high-end stuff. You don't need to buy every pre-shaving thing that goes with it. There's many other things you've already got in your arsenal you can use, or you should be cutting down on. So when I have a shower, I use this brush. It's a synthetic brush. I've had it forever. This brush has had a lot more than 5,000 or 6,000 uses behind its name. And the reason is I use that at least once a day. So if I shower twice, I'll do it twice. If I shower once, I'll do it once. But I use this and a soap to wash my face, my eyelids, my forehead, behind my ears. And that is part of my cleaning and exfoliating process. You need to exfoliate the skin. So why this brush? This brush, if you pinch it, it's got quite stiff, quite scrubby texture to it. So I enjoy that, to do that exfoliation. This brush is good for another, I don't know, million helpings. It's exactly the same. I had it since day one. It's just obviously discolored a lot from where I'm holding it and so forth. So don't be fooled by the value you can get from a cheap end brush. Okay, you can make a fantastic laver with that compared to something like this, which is a Badger high-end brush. Another example, a brush I like a lot is Boar. Alright, this is my original Dapper Shaves Boar brush. This thing's got 1,000 plus shaves on it, if not more, and it's not even broken in yet. Guys, if you want to break in a Boar brush, you've got to understand a Boar brush and the dynamics and how they work. So one is, Boar hairs is very similar to human hairs, okay? Badger hairs, totally different. Badger hairs don't split. Badger hair has got little gutters. If this is the hair shaft, it's got little gutters like this where the water gets trapped. Okay, a human hair has got, looks like scales going up to the top, and that's how you protect it. And so when you do hanging hair test, you'll sometimes hear about people referring to root in or root out. So depending how you turn it, it's going to change the angle of the scales on the hair to make it pop. So if you keep it root in, sorry, the scales are going downwards, this way, if this is the root. They sit like that on the shaft of the hair. So if you do root in, hanging hair, that means you're holding the root and you pull up. That scales when the scale's coming this way. If this is the blade edge and you push on it, it flips and it opens up the scale and it can cut the hair quite easy. If you turn it around where the scale's going this way and you've got the blade pressing up against it, it's turning away. So it's you'll see you get different results on how sharp your razor is based on root in or root out testing. That's on a straight razor. Right, so that's something about brushes. Oh, the other thing is, I prefer 24 to 27 millimeter thick knots. Okay, it's a nice large brush. You can create an incredible amount of lather with it. It's luxurious. You don't need to go bigger. If you're a bigger person, 6'8", 7 foot, large hands, you want something large, yeah, get something bigger, but at the end of the day, you pay for it. And I think this type of knot sizes is, so 24, and I think this is 27, is the range in where I think you'll find great value. So if you're looking to buy a brush, just some of the advice you need. Boar brushes, to break them in, soak this for 5 minutes in warm water. Right, you take it out, you squeeze out most of the water, you hold your hand like this and you put a hairdryer to it, and every now and again you rub it with your fingers. As I said, this is like human hairs. You want the hair to split at the top. So go and ask your wife, go and ask the hairdresser. If you use too much heat on the hair ain't split. Okay? And you want that on a boar brush. You want those hairs to split. They become denser, they become softer. Those split ends tend to clump together, so you get that whole gel-like feel and performance from it. Moreover, that hair will curl a bit at the tip, and you need that, because if you pull it, that little hooks help lift hair and stand up straight. So try that. People say, Jock, you damaged the brush. A boar brush is supposed to be like that to produce and feel nice. So if you want to break in your boar brush in 2 minutes, follow that technique. Trust me, it works well. Just the area you want damage on, you put the heat and you keep rub it with a towel, and you will see dramatic changes. There's going to be bits and pieces that break off, guys. Don't stress about that if it's all within reason. That's how boar brushes work. Okay, right, so I've been talking a lot, so let me get shaving some. Basics about brushes out the way. The soap I'm going to use today is Trevor soap. I didn't give it quite the love, or not the love. I didn't make a proper laver the first time I used it, so we're going to do that. I'm going to be using a synthetic brush. This is a very, very, very hard soap. Synthetic brushes mean load a lot easier than any of the other brushes. So I'm just quickly giving that brush a soak. I'm going to squeeze out all the water because I really want to load as much product as I can, and this is going to take some time. Right, so I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to make sure I load a lot of product. Why is a lot of product important? The product holds a lot of the water, helps you retain and hold a lot of the water. The product is going to give you the cushion you're going to require on your skin. Alright? And that cushion also, the thicker it is, the more water it holds. It's going to, you really need to work the product and the water together to get it nice and slick. And you need that slickness on the skin so that you reduce drag and razor burn. And just make sure it is a smooth thing, the blade doesn't cause damage to the skin if everything's done correctly. So you'll see I'm creating a paste with this. It's not something that's too runny or full. In fact, I dropped a bit, but you would see it's thick. So let's just put that back on there. Right, so I think I've loaded enough product. So that's the first thing. You also see if you're in a barber shop, they generally use creams because you don't want to spend a lot of time whipping up lather. But creams are also easier and thicker and already hydrated, so it's easier to work with. So here we go. I'm first just gonna give this a good work, and then we're going to start adding water. So work the product into the skin, into the hairs, so you've got a good base. Right, and now I'm going to start adding water. The fact that I've got enough product now, I don't need to be scared about going with large amounts of water because it's not going to break down. You'll see this lather developing nicely now. So to all the subscribers, those of you that follow me, those of you that find this channel by accident, very welcome. I hope you find useful information in this channel. So we're going to really cover all the basics. Again, just to familiarize ourselves why we elect to buy things, use certain products, and what's the best to get out of them. So, the razor. On the previous video I said Trevor's razor is always very, very smooth. He's a razor maker. He's made more than 500 razors. Somewhere along the line, you know, you're going to not be on your game. And I'm not saying Trevor wasn't on his game, very smooth edge, but I said that one for me needs a bit of sharpness. Now, what do I mean by sharpness? So Trevor does a highly polished edge, and I'm going to insert a picture here, and that's an important one, so I must remember to do it. It shows the difference between the particle shape you've got and how it impacts the edge. And obviously the smoother you polish an edge, the smaller and the shallower the scratches are going to be at the apex level. And you would have heard the term, people say you've got a toothy edge. So that's a very serrated, very deep scratched edge. And they are always very sharp, but they can be very detrimental to the skin, cause trauma and so forth because of those serrations that's standing out. It scrapes and creates a lot more damage. So if you go to a very microscopic level, you can essentially get all of that ripped by a polishing. You've got something that's sharp, but it's very smooth. So you don't get that aggressive cutting performance, and that's what I'm talking about. So what did I do with this? I've made over time for myself a cortical emulsion. Right, it's like a little liquid I can put on a dedicated strap, and those round particles obviously sit down on the leather. Cortical is one of the stones that cuts RWL for me quite well. Having said that, if you want to really put on a different edge, do your own thing, I would recommend using high quality synthetics. Synthetics has got that particle profile that helps retain a little bit of deeper scratches, giving you that crisp bite. So if you're looking to hone a RWL steel, I would recommend doing that. So I'm eager to see how that cortical emulsion did, and then I stropped this razor, and I've also spoken about that previously on my strap, but on the suede side. And this is really nice, aggressive, but yet velvety texture. I've got quite a long strap, okay, and so that's nice because you can either use the top half, the middle half, or the bottom, so depending on what you feel like. And you would see my straps has got some pattern in it, okay. So it's not an ultra smooth surface, but guys, this full grain leather smoothness, when it comes to strapping, you want something with life in it and substance and power. You don't want something overly soft. Hence why I say this suede is absolutely fantastic. So my straps, I've got 7 pieces of leather left. For those that's interested locally in my strap. Okay, so been talking a lot. Let's just quickly add a bit more water, and then we can get into the shave. So yeah, a bit of a different video today. A bit slower pace, a lot more technical talk. So hopefully you know what brushes to go for. Soaps, I've been and still is a tallow fan. Many reasons for that. Beef tallow, that fat, there's nothing more compatible with human skin than that. It absorbs into the skin, it keeps your skin healthy. There's just so many good things about tallow I enjoy. If you don't, there's excellent vegan soaps, and here's a prime example. Trevor soap. This is made for him by a hairy eye, and you would have seen I've used their soaps before, vegan. This is a sandalwood one, very good, local in South Africa. Excellent soaps, pre-shaves, post-shaves. This one my daughter likes in particular. They've got great barber shop sense. So if you want that masculine barbershop sense and different from the mainstream high fragrance stuff, very good. This one, like my daughter says, has got a very strong Tai Chi smell. She likes that. I use this at the post shave, and I'm going to use this today again. So let me just move my razor out the way. Why is this one different? It is done on Trevor's hollow grind wheel, but it's a thicker grind. This is a 1-of-1. No other razor currently is grind like that. This was my specification. Right, so the wolf blades, I mean, the craftsmanship on this stuff's absolutely through the roof. If you don't know Trevor stuff, go and check out his website, go and check out images, go and check out Gary Haywood. I don't think there's anybody on this planet that knows more about wolf blades razors than he does. He's got a few. And he's got in particular great understanding and knowledge when it comes to honing. So if you've got questions or want to go and check out Gary's stuff, he knows what he's talking about. He's a barber in England, for those of you that don't know. Yeah, definitely a bit more sharpness. I think I can push it even more, but that's the whole thing. It's experience, understanding, getting the opportunity to try different things. Very good. Yeah, I think this actually, yeah, very good. I've got an infection, something bit me here on my chin. So I'm eager to see if it healed. So skin manipulation, very important aspect. Stretch the skin. Have small overlapping strokes. Take your time, especially when you're new. The more attention to detail you pay, the better the result, obviously. Also, the other thing, try and keep a shallow blade angle. I mean shallow like that, not like that. When you get to the Adam's apple, you can pull it away to the side. To get it nice and clean. If you are somebody that nick yourself a lot, or have got a tendency because of a sharp point like this, just put it on a stone and just meet that bit. I know Gary Haywood does that. So if you're really scared of that, just mute that point. Like that. I think I just gave myself another one. Yeah, that was just very careless. Totally the wrong area, not looking what I'm doing. But so that can happen quite quickly. Yeah, I like the sharpness with the smoothness on this edge. The difficult areas like the chin, you would know by now, and if you don't, I'll remind you again. The power part of the blade is the heel. It's the closest to your grip, there's less torque, and you've got the most control. Right, so that was a first pass. Very good. Just this little careless stroke. It's a very good full first pass. Most people are gonna struggle to get that with a few passes. So it's been going a very long time. This brush has been staining, but the lather is still ultra hydrated. Very nice. Great quality soap, and more importantly, a wonderful scent. Yeah, not a lot to do really. Clean up. So guys, that was a great example. You can see the skin riding in front of the blade like that. Yet it's not cutting the skin or irritating it. And that's how you get a very good smooth. So this slickness, preparation and the quality of the edge is what's going to significantly help you get those results. Doing a lot of buffing, unnecessary. I want ish. This is very good. Right, so very happy with that. So what I'm going to do is, this now got hot water, but let me quickly show you the magic of a good post shave. This one, it's just right, so there we go. That's the post shave. So I hope you've learned a couple of things or picked up a couple of things or cleared up some considerations if you want to buy a new brush, what you need. If you've got a scrub, facial scrub, but you like this idea of using a brush to do that, once that's finished you don't need to buy it again. So see you guys on the next video. Thank you for the support. Trevor, thank you for the opportunity to use and showcase your razors. Cheers everyone.